This introduction video will cover the basics of logging into PCRecruiter and finding your way around. If you're brand new to the system, Main Sequence Technology welcomes you and thanks you for joining the thousands of professionals around the world who build their businesses on PCRecruiter. Before we begin, let's take a moment to talk about what PCRecruiter is and what it can do. PCRecruiter is a web-based solution for recruiting, staffing, and sourcing professionals in organizations of all types and sizes. It helps you manage the 4 kinds of data you work with: names, companies, positions, and the activity that logs the connections between them in any combination. Names are your database's people. These include your candidates, applicants, hiring authorities, clients, managers, and so forth. PCRecruiter can store their resumes, your notes about them, their contact details, skill sheets, attachments, and so on. Companies can be any organizations or groups your people are associated with, whether that's one of your clients, a department within your own company, or a general talent pool. Positions are usually the jobs or roles which your people are the contact person for, or those jobs which you're hoping to place them in. In some cases, a position can represent the role that the person currently holds, such as a contract placement. In the process of tracking names, companies, and positions, PCRecruiter provides you with the tools for searching, collecting information, sorting, scheduling, tracking, sending emails, making calls, reporting, posting jobs to the web, and more. All of the activity about where people are in your process, what's happened with them in the past, and what your plans are for the future can be managed from within the system. In short, PCRecruiter is designed to act as the central hub in which you keep track of your entire sourcing and placement operation. Let's look at actually getting into the PCRecruiter system for the first time. To use PCRecruiter, you'll need to have a current web browser on your machine. We developed PCRecruiter with the Google Chrome web browser in mind and recommend that as the first choice for fullest use of the system. But you can also access PCRecruiter with other modern web browsers such as Apple Safari on the Mac and Microsoft Edge on Windows. For the purposes of this video, we'll be showing the process from a Windows machine running Chrome, but you'll find the Mac setup to be nearly identical. Before anything else, you'll need to have the current release of Java installed on your machine, as there are a few features of PCRecruiter that rely on this platform, made by Oracle. You'll find the installer at java.com. Click the free download option, then click on Agree to start the download. When it's finished downloading, browse to the downloaded file, right-click, and choose Run as Administrator to make sure that it's given proper security permissions to install. If you see any security prompt messages, allow the program to make changes to your machine. Then begin the installation. You'll be asked if you want to set Yahoo as your homepage, which you likely will not want to do, so change the selection to Do Not Update Browser Settings and proceed. The installation should only take a minute to run. The installer may prompt you to remove older Java versions from the machine, and we recommend that you do remove them if there are any. You'll also see a checkbox indicating whether you want to restore security prompts for Java, which is fine, so you can leave that checked and follow the prompts to finish the installation. Next, you'll need to install the PCRecruiter Launcher, which is a small utility that helps PCRecruiter communicate with software on your computer for file handling and pop-up notifications. This is a self-updating utility, so you should only need to download and install it once on your machine. After the initial installation, it'll automatically prompt you for updates whenever there's one available. The easiest place to find the launcher is on your PCRecruiter login screen. Your PCRecruiter representative or your admin will supply you with the web address of your account login page, which should look something like this. You'll want to bookmark this address in your browser for fast access. We'll talk more about this login screen in a moment, but for now, we'll concentrate on the launcher links found in the lower left corner. You'll click on the link for whichever operating system you use. On Macs, you'll be downloading a disk image file, which should mount on your desktop like any other installation volume. On Windows, you'll be downloading an exe file. When it's done downloading, we will again want to browse to the file's location, right-click, and choose Run as Administrator. The launcher installation should only take a few seconds. Now that we've got Java updated and the PCRecruiter Launcher installed, this machine is ready for use with PCRecruiter. The box on the lower left is where you'll find important maintenance notices or other major service announcements from Main Sequence. On the lower right, you'll find Main Sequence's most recent blog posts, which will include news, product updates, helpful videos, partnership announcements, and so forth. You can scroll up and down and click on the items to read more. At the upper right is your login form. You should have a username and password which was provided to you by your Main Sequence representative or your PCRecruiter administrator. Your username will always be all caps, but the password field is case sensitive. The drop-down menu will allow you to choose which database or configuration to log into. In many cases, there will only be one option in this drop-down. If you do have multiple databases, you'll be able to tell by looking at the Browser tab which one you're logged into, as well as which username you're logged in with. Once you're logged in, you'll see that PCRecruiter has a 3-panel layout. The main menu section is up top. The middle panel is where you'll find secondary menus, search features, and lists. The bottom panel is where you'll see detailed views of records you select. For example, when I click Name in the main menu, the Name search area appears in the middle panel, and if I select a name from the middle panel, the record itself appears in the lower panel. You can use the arrows at the edge of the lower panel to expand and contract for more viewing area, in addition to dragging the edge to resize. Let's look at the menus. In PCR, most menus can be configured to show just the items and actions you need to see most, while the remaining items are hidden in a pop-up list. Cutting your menus down to your most used items can help you work faster and reduce distractions and confusion for new users. Each customizable menu in PCRecruiter has this icon to the right of it. Clicking the icon displays a pop-up list of all the available options for that menu. You can click on any of the options in this pop-up list to use that item, or you can use the pin and checkmark icons to the right to add or remove the items from your personalized menu. Clicking a checkmark removes the selected item from your menu, and clicking the pin icon adds the selected item to your menu. Remember, pinning and unpinning items doesn't prevent you from using them. It simply sets which menu items are in the custom short list that you can see out front and which are hidden away under the pop-up list. If you want to rearrange the items into a new order, just uncheck them all and repin them again in the order you'd prefer. The main menu, which contains navigation to the primary areas of the system, will remain in the top frame at all times. When you're working in the screens that load in the lower frames, you'll usually find a pair of menus, one on the upper left and one on the upper right. In the left menu, you'll usually find navigational icons that can take you to related screens. For example, when we're on the name record, the left menu can take us to the resume, activities, attachments, and so on. On a position record, the navigation menu goes to things like the applicant pipeline or placement details. The menu on the right is for actions, things you can do with this record, like adding and deleting, putting a record into one or more groups, which we call roll-up lists, logging an activity, and so on. As you get accustomed to PCR, you'll find that this separation of things you can do from places you can go makes it easy to find your way around, particularly if you're in a screen you've never used before, because the separation of actions from navigation is fairly consistent throughout the entire program. And like the main menu, these menus can also be adjusted with the pin and checkmark options to keep your most used items out front. If you don't see what you're looking for, check the pop-up list, pin the action you want, and it'll be visible from now on. One last thing to note in this basic introduction video is the small menu to the far right of the main menu, which contains the options to change your password, start the Pcrecruiter Launcher if it hasn't started automatically or was closed, and the option to log out. You can also log out of PCRecruiter at any time by simply closing the browser window.